Alright, baseheads. It's your boy, the OG Soda Pop Kid, down here with the second video. This is going to be on another subject while I'm down here at Advanced Auto Parts instead of being in the garage, because I just got some new shocks put on the back of this car just now. And they had a hard time getting the shock on the passenger side of the vehicle, man. A hard time. And plus, they're the spring-loaded shocks, man, that I got back there, man. Alright, so the issue that I had, see, there's two new alternators on there. Well, they're not new. This one has been, the rectifier went in this. The problem I was having with it making that crazy noise, it was an alternator doing it. And it wasn't doing it the day that it started. When we were driving, you didn't know if the noise was coming from the front or the back at the time. And this alternator here was smoking like a grill, smoking when we pulled over here at Advanced Auto Parts at the time and lifted up the hood, and this was smoking real bad. So I unplugged it. We drove to the house. We switched it because I had two backups. And then after I switched it, when I came to get my starter put on, it started screaming on the way to the mechanic shop. Okay. And so I pulled that off and threw that one over here. And when it started screaming, so when I brought it back, 2 days later I started it up, and this time it started screaming with the car idling, which was good. Because then I was able to see what was making the noise. And it was the alternators. It was both of them screaming. Period. Screaming, and they started smelling immediately. As soon as I fired up the car, they started smelling and screaming. Period. So, with that being said, I took the other two down to the alternator guy to find out what the heck was going on with them. Probably the rectifiers in both of them too. So just on this side was fine. I thought it was the voltage regulators doing all that. No, it was not the voltage regulators, because what I did is I took one of the regulators from this side and moved it over to this side, and it still did it. So it wasn't the regulators. I did a continuity test, and all the wires were all working properly, but I had a couple of my basehead friends that wanted me to do all these other tests. Check for corrosion. Well, I ain't got no corrosion. And if I did have corrosion, there's times I had corrosion and never had that problem ever with a little bit of corrosion. Okay? Like I said, there's grounds crazy on this car on both sides. There's grounds, and grounds. You know, big, fat, nasty grounds and grounds in the back and grounds, bro. And corrosion has never, ever caused that particular problem ever, man. And I see wasn't too many cats, you geniuses, coming up on helping or saying nothing, especially you alternator guys, but you love for us to spend our money on your alternators, right? Y'all love all that, but won't give no advice or no help. I got you. I was gonna get to the bottom of it regardless. Okay, so it was the alternators screaming, and I could say that to say this. Those alternators, those 220s, was remanufactured alternators coming from Advanced Auto Parts, the 220s. The 320s that I had that was made by CES in 2019, those alternators did me real good. I never should have got rid of them. Why I got rid of them is because I thought that they were bogging down my engine. That's what I thought they were doing, so I threw the 220s on to see if the engine would run any different with 220s on. And no, it didn't run any different. Okay, and the downfall was, of course, the 220s wasn't putting out as much amperage as the 320s. As far as demoing and all of that, the 320s did real well. So now I'm going to go back to 320s again. And I was trying to find out if the internal regulators was going to be better than the external regulators, and I did ask about that, and guys were giving me their opinions and why they think one would be better than the other. Okay, and so on and so forth. And I also had my boy Ben do a modification on my bracket I had him weld the studs on here instead of using the nuts. So now when I raise these up, when I put a new belt on, I can raise these up all the way up instead of it being blocked off. Okay, so he did a good job on that. And it was all my idea, of course. You know what I mean? So to be a cleaner look. So boom, on that there, you don't see no nuts coming outside of here. Bam. Alright, so that was a problem. So I'm trying to figure out if internals, when I get them 320s done, if the internal regulators would be better to have instead of using these externals, and then I can be rid of these. I can be rid of these, man. You know what I mean? And get them set to 15.8. And I was told by Tony at CES that on a hot day, they probably would drop from 15.8 to 15.5, and I won't mind that. As long as that C-Max is back there, I won't mind that. But the advantage is being able to turn those up to get more voltage out of them if needed be. If I wanted 16 volts, I can turn them to 16 volts, but I know one of my teammates and a couple other guys talk about these things spiking. And I've had them spike, but I've only had them spike to like 16.1 volts when I was driving before. That's it, but not up to 16.9, but 16.1. All right, and and then they went back down as I was driving. But one time they spiked up to 16 point something volts when a wire wasn't connected to one of them. When I had one of those pulled out and didn't plug it back in. You know what I mean? So I never really had no spiking, no serious spiking problems with these. But guys said that these do spike. So I'm realizing that whatever external regulators you use, there's going to be problems with them. Even the more expensive ones, I was told that some of my people had problems with them. And they were more than these and supposed to be better than these here, okay? So that's that. All right, and more sooner than later, I'm gonna throw some hot glue, those potentiometers. I'm gonna end up hot gluing them, putting them to a set point, then hot gluing them, so they don't, so those things don't move. If they're moving at all. Okay, it's just that those remanufactured alternators were remanufactured by some company and not guys that really know what they're doing when they fix these things. So since Murray Automotive Electric actually fixed that one, I don't expect it to just go bad for no reason whatsoever. And when I get them 320s, I expect them to just last me because the last ones lasted. And I got rid of them, and I should have kept them first. But what I did is I cored them out. I cored them out when I got these. I use them as cores. So that company that's going to get a hold of those is probably just going to take everything out of them and do this to them when really nothing's wrong with them. You feel me? So that's that, man. So I'm going to get off of here with that. Okay. So that's what's going to happen, man. So it's your boy, the OG Soda Pop Kid. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. I'm going to give me some music today, and peace.